Happy Friday to everyone. Today, I want to talk about what having the perfect credit score will cost you. Getting a FICO score of an 850, 9 things that I would recommend that is needed to be done, and the sacrifices that you're going to have to take in order to get there. So stay tuned. My name is Jay, and welcome to Ask a Debt Collector. Now, I've been in the debt collection industry for over 15 years. I've done it all, from skip tracing to collecting to management, and I've owned 2 debt collection agencies. For the past 8 years, I've been the go-to guy for friends and family for questions regarding debt and credit, and now I want to be that person for you. If you have any questions, put them down in the comment section. I promise I'll answer those questions. Let's go. Be sure to like and subscribe if you're new to this YouTube channel. It is growing consistently and organically. For those of you who have subscribed, who has liked, who has commented on each and every video, I have so much gratitude to each and every one of you guys. Share it with your friends and family. Help them to get this free knowledge to help them out with regards to credit and debt. Now, when thinking about this 850 FICO score, right? I'll be honest with you guys. The best FICO score that the highest I've ever gotten was an 820, which is pretty darn good. But the reality is, it takes a lot of discipline and a lot of planning in order to do that. Just like anything. If you're an entrepreneur, you're trying to become financially stable, you're trying to become financially wealthy, whatever the circumstance is, a lot of times when you look at what happens, it takes a lot of work in order to do that. So it's important that while you're trying to build your credit journey, that you stay disciplined and that you understand that it takes time in order to build that perfect credit score. It does not happen overnight. Even if you got all your derogatory accounts off of your credit report, you have to build credit. And in building credit, only thing that helps you with regards to that is applying for credit cards, applying for installment loans and revolving loans, and making sure you're making those payments. And over the course of time, we're talking 7, 8, 9 years plus and beyond, will help you get that perfect credit score, but it's gonna take time in order to do so. But here are the 9 things that I recommend that you look over if you want to build the perfect credit score, and some of the things that it's going to cost you in order to do so. So let's start out. Number 1, the most important thing that I tell every single person, every single client that I have, is to create a budget. Before you look at a credit report, before you start disputing accounts, before you hire a company to actually dispute the accounts, a professional to do it for you on your behalf, you have to create a budget. One of the things that I say is you just make a list down all of your bills. I mean every single bill, from the Netflix payments all the way to your mortgage or rent, every single bill that you have that you pay on a consistent basis each month, all the way down to what you eat out in a restaurant. You put it down on the list. Then you make another list. You put on the top of one of the lists necessities, luxuries. You put down the necessities, the things that you have to pay in order to live. Then you look at the luxuries. Those are things that you don't necessarily need. Try and eliminate as much of those things so that way you'll have an actual budget to understand what you need to do. Whether if you have enough to hire somebody, or maybe you have to go a cheaper route and get a DIY credit repair packet or something along those lines. Down below, I do have both of those, a free 30-minute consultation and the DIY credit repair packet down below. So if you're interested in that, click the link and opt in. Number 2, this is so important, is to live within your means, right? In America, because of credit and the way that it's presented to each and every consumer, it's basically extra money to spend on frivolous things that are not going to help you out. You got to live within your means. Once you figured out your budget, you know what's going on with regards to it. That's the great thing about having that budget and living within your means, because it helps in that aspect. If you need to decline some bills, then you can figure that out because you know what you have. Or if you're making a little more income and you're wanting to do something else along those methods, you have that option with regards to that. But live within your means. Don't be chasing the Joneses. Number 3, plan large expenses or expenditures that you're going to have to pay for. The reason why I say plan it is because a lot of times when we make impulse spending and it's not planned, you're always going to end up spending more or getting ripped off. Let me tell you a small story about me. One of the things about me is, and I haven't done it yet, but I've always wanted, a really nice gold watch, maybe a couple gold chains, real nice gold chains, 14, 18 karat gold chains, and possibly some earrings. And I know that I'll be able to get that. But I remember not too long ago, walking out of a store, out of Walmart, and I saw a guy out there, and he just says, "Hey, could I have $100 to buy some groceries?" So I had my groceries in my hand. Of course, I wanted to help him out, so I put the groceries in the car. I tell him, "Yes, I could give you $100." As I come back and I'm telling him, "Hey, do you want to go inside the store? I could get this stuff for you." He was with his family. He had this gold ring, and he handed it to me. And he's like, "Hey, man, thank you for your help. This is just for you." And I go, No. I just want to help you. I don't want the ring." "Oh, no. Please, it'll offend me. Take the ring." And it was a gold ring. It was a nice little Versace gold ring or whatnot. Next thing you know, to make a long story short, so we're not here all day, they end up having 3 or 4 gold chains, all this stuff. And every time he kept upping the price. And one of the things that I had to understand is typically I call my wife within anything because she keeps me grounded. And unfortunately, those people took me for fake gold chains, even though in the beginning I was just going to help them out. It went from that to giving up about $500 in actual cash for like 3 fake gold chains and like 2 rings or whatever the circumstance is. But no understanding and planning large expenditures, and $500 to a lot of people can be a large expenditure, or even higher. But when you plan it out beforehand, like if I planned out, okay, now I have this money, I go and vet a couple of companies with regards to getting the chains or whatever the jewelry that I wanted, then that way you don't end up getting scammed or taken advantage of or spending more than you actually need to spend. Number 4, know your weak points. Sort of kind of goes with that. One of the things with any thing that I do with my wife with regards to when we're going to make a purchase or do anything, we run it by each other. I found that if I don't do that, that's when I make dumb mistakes. So I don't even care, even if it's a business expenditure or whatever the circumstances, I always try to run everything by my wife and vice versa, so that way you get a second opinion on stuff and you understand what's going on. One of my weak points is sort of kind of impulse doing stuff, understanding within this whole diaspora, no one is perfect. Everyone has weak points, but understand your weak points. Number 5, pay your bills earlier. Most people who have that perfect credit score, or 750s and above, they pay their bills earlier. Whether it's weekly, monthly, whatever the circumstance is, they take care of their bills earlier. That's one of the things that I do. I have everything set up on my credit cards, all my bills that automatically come out. And then at the end of on Fridays, every Friday, depending on the finances and so forth, I pay my bills off early. So make sure you pay your bills off early. Number 6, keep old credit cards open. Now, I know a lot of you guys, when you're starting out, you may have gotten a secure credit card. You may have gotten some, credit card, no offense to like First Premier or something along those lines. It was something to start out with a very bad interest rate and no real incentives from the credit card. But if you started out with that credit card, yes, you may not get any points or whatever the circumstance is, but if you use that card like a debit card, you only spend what you have in the bank to actually pay it, you won't have to worry about the high interest rates. And that payment history on that credit card, it be 5, 6, 7, 8 years, helps your FICO score. The longer your payment history, the better your FICO score would be. Number 7, review your credit report. Get credit monitoring, whether it's the free through Credit Karma or you pay for some type of credit monitoring. I have a link down below that I will add for credit monitoring that I do recommend. It's My Free Score Now. It's about $24 a month. You opt in, you get all 3 credit reports every single month, as well as you will actually, you get identity theft up to $1 million, and you could just keep tabs on anything that's happening with your credit report. It helps with fraud. If someone fraudulently opens an account up and you don't have credit monitoring, you don't know what'll happen with regards to that, and you'll find out the hard way in collections and dealing with all the plethora of things that you have to do with dealing with someone who fraudulently opened an account up in your name. And so make sure you keep and you look at your credit report. I look at mine at least once a week, sometimes, once a month, once every other 2 weeks or whatnot. But again, if you want a link for a good credit monitoring company, the link is down below. Number 8. One of the things you have to do is utilize debt to your advantage. That's what people with perfect credit scores do. When I say that, what I mean is this. If you're going to make a purchase, make sure it's budgeted. Make sure it's what you have in the bank. That way you avoid interest rates and so forth with regards to everything. So set up your cell phone. You're going to have to pay that every month. You have that in your budget. Set up the Netflix accounts. Set up your power and electric bills. Set up your cable bills. All of that type of stuff. Set it up on your credit cards. That's how you use the debt to actually benefit yourself. And once you get the correct credit cards, you'll get points for that. Use it to buy groceries. A lot of credit cards out there give you 5 points for groceries, gas, all of those types of things. And then on a larger scale, when one of the things that people do with good credit is they use the debt to purchase assets, not to purchase liabilities. Assets are anything that puts money into your pocket. Liabilities take money from your pocket. But that's another thing to do. And number 9, one of the most important things that I say in order to build that perfect credit score is you have to have an emergency funding, right? It's one of the things I always tell people, try and have 2 to 6 months of expenses set aside, whatever your bills is, whatever you figure that bill is, that budget is, try and save up 2 to 6 months of money in your savings account in case of an emergency that may apply or come up. You lose your job, whatever the circumstance is, you can survive during that time span. One of the statistics that I read is that most Americans, I think it was like 85% of Americans, if they had a $400 emergency, that they wouldn't be able to come up with the funds. Credit is one of the ways that you can have that. And if you do it right, build that up to where you can have as an emergency. And then obviously, as you're doing that with regards to your work and everything that's transpiring and the extra points you're getting off of these accounts and so forth, you can build that emergency fund to have as a cash reserve in case anything happens. Now, if you want a 30-minute free consultation with regards to credit repair, down below there is a link. Click the link. Let's see what we can do to help you out to get you to the 800s and to get you that perfect credit score. We do have the free Pay to Delete, free cease and desist letters, as well as a free Goodwill letter. Click the link, opt in, you'll get that stuff for free. Hopefully it'll help you out in your credit journey. If you have any questions, put them down in the comment section. I promise I'll answer those questions. And as always, you be great.